Kassadin.
Oh,
Great example.
boy, Kassadin.
Just Yasuo, he's got options. You know, he has his passive, mitigates some damage, but stuff like that, like they can proc his passive with an auto attack.
Right.
And then his passive goes up and it's gone. And then they can just shoot him with a skill shot. And if he doesn't have wind wall up, it's tough. Okay, so jumping into teams here. And if we look at buys real quick, we see Janna going for the Ancient Coin and Leona with the Relic Shield.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
And it looks like Forest is... Oh, it looks like LovelyPrincesses might be looking for an early invade. Early 4-man invade. Yasuo's coming as well. This could be 5. They're easily going to be able to catch Varus out in the jungle if he's not careful. Whereas Blue is... Resurrected is actually checking top river quite a bit. Ooh. I don't think they're going to have engage potential with that distance. Yeah, they saw him too early. Very brave move by LovelyPrincesses. Just kind of diving in there. But, you know, they did make a correct call. Most of Resurrected headed top to the top river. See Jack's backing. In terms of trinkets, we actually saw Leona run sweepers. I noticed this is very common with the more aggressive supports early game. You're looking to de-ward their bush so you can aggressively possess their bush.
Right.
And you can make that your presence. You know, claim that territory, establish that early lane positioning, and then use it to capitalize on early kill potential. Personally, I run sweepers on Leona. It's really good early game. Meanwhile, the only sweepers... We also see Janna running sweepers as well, with Lee Sin running the warding totem. A lot of junglers throughout the development of Season 4 took sweeper as their core trinket because they wanted like gank lanes better. But it turns out that warding trinket ended up being a more popular pick because you saw a lot more action happening.
Well, and for Lee Sin, the early warding totem ups his mobility a little.
Oh, wait, true. And it looks like we've actually got Jarvan heading into the... Looks like he's trying to steal red. Whereas Lee Sin, in turn, is also stealing red.
So
they're probably looking to catch each other. However, the difference is now Jarvan is going to finish and take red, whereas Lee Sin is just waiting for a Jarvan that's never going to show up because he's at his red.
Yeah.
If we just look at the quick early CS, Varus is just a filament ahead, whereas Olaf is actually doing... He's out-trading Jax, but they're not really engaging upon one another.
Well, you
Jax is
always
taking the
see that
CS.
early with the Jax. The Jax generally...
We see Yasuo keeping up pretty... he's actually ahead of Ahri at this point, but he's taking quite a bit of damage from the grass. Although... Wow, okay.
That was a good trade.
That was a good trade. Yasuo definitely has a lot of outplay potential. You know, as they said in his summoner, in his champion release video, he's very skill-oriented. Ooh, excellent knockup. This could actually be an early kill if he had Ignite. But he took Barrier instead. If he had been a bit more confident in his play. Meanwhile, we've actually got Olaf. Looks like he went for take a couple hits into Jax there. We've got Lee Sin roaming to the bot jungle. He's pinging it, so he's looking to engage on Varus, who... Vayne taking a ton of damage here. She's not going to be able to engage safely with that amount of HP, so it's going to force Lee Sin to back off and head back into his jungle.
Leona actually had a ward in that tri-bush, and then it ran out and Lee Sin showed up.
We're back to gold. Yasuo and... See, both the ADCs are relatively tied. Yasuo is actually leading on Ahri by 10 CS. Ahri is actually having a really difficult time fighting Yasuo. Ahri does kind of struggle herself in the very earliest elements of the game. She needs a couple of her tools. She can't really survive with just one. Oh, we actually looks like we have Olaf going on Jax. Once again, a situation where an Ignite Summoner would have killed.
Jax burned Flash to get out. Though.
Yes, he did. So it's definitely working out in Olaf's favor. And now he's just so far ahead in CS, I don't really... It's going to be tough for Jax to pick up any opportunities for comeback at this point.
Olaf is backing to buy.
If we... Let's see. Well, looks like we have Jarvan initiating on Yasuo. This was a... Oh, he jukes out. I think he's... Oh, yes, the early save from Lee Sin. He actually might pick up a kill here. That was a great... stutter step by Yasuo, dodging the Jarvan knockup combo.
Right.
He managed to... Oh, we've actually got Ahri being chased by Lee Sin in the jungle. The excellent Q, dives in, picks up the kill. A very clean double kill for LovelyPrincesses.
I don't know if you saw it, but Yasuo actually threw up his wind wall and blocked a charm from Ahri.
Yeah, that was really good.
That was pretty
Like we
great.
mentioned earlier, Yasuo does have just so many tools, and the wind wall is there. He's a lot of defense. He he picked into a lot of defensive options with the presence of barrier and flash. So it looks like he's planning to simply outplay his opponent and then keep the summoners for jungler needs. And just, oh my gosh, Olaf doing a ton of damage to Jax, but there's a lot of creeps there. He took almost, I think maybe 50% of that damage was from the huge clump of caster creeps we had. We've got Lee Sin and Jarvan hawking the bottom lane. Vayne once again is being pressured out of lane with just a sliver of HP. She's really, she's actually keeping herself ahead at the cost of safe laning. She is ahead in CS, but she's constantly under 30–40% health. However, Varus also at this time relatively low.
Varus is actually really close to Vayne because those 4 CS on Leona.
Oh, right. Would transfer over on the Relic Shield. Very active. I forgot about that. These new mechanics.
Yeah, we're all getting used to it.
Looks like we have Lee Sin positioning with Yasuo. Probably set up a gank. Lee Sin is playing very active early in this game. You know, usually...
They were going to die.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Excellent combo. Yeah, there's like a very clean pickup on Ahri. At this point, Lee Sin has pretty much established his lane dominance, and he's not going to need Lee Sin's help unless Jarvan shows up.
Right.
So, you know, if he gets a little bit ahead, he does output a ton of damage. He has a lot of movement options. So it can be, if you're skill, like a really high mechanics player. Oh, we have Jarvan coming in trying to defend the tower.
Olaf coming down
that would be a dangerous engage, though, with the tower so low. Olaf is coming in from the back, and he is pretty strong at this point, but Yasuo has some levels on him. He has 1 level on him, and just the 2v1 doesn't look opportune at this point. If we're back to buys, Varus actually went and bought his BF sword at pre-8 minutes. Pretty good. Yasuo's finished his Avarice Blade and his Vamp Scepter. So he's going to be tough to kill in lane now. He's got Thorn Shield, Vamp Scepter, a good amount of AD on top of his passive and both of his summoners. I don't see him dying anytime soon.
He's not alone.
Yeah.
Ahri's going to need some help to kill him.
Jax has also finished his Vamp Scepter, so maybe we could see him bring a bit back, but we see Olaf with an early Chain Vest.
Yeah.
Could be possible he's going for the Thorn Mail. We'll see.
I think that's probably going to build into a Sunfire.
Oh, right. You know, we saw a lot of talks about, especially like if you check, we've got tumbles out of the way. Pretty good tornado from Janna, but now she's not going to have it as a defensive option if Leona chooses to turn around and ult Vayne. Doesn't look like they're going to go for it this time. Yasuo actually diving pretty deep here, chasing low HP Ahri. Excellent knockup from Jarvan actually saves Ahri by the skin of her teeth. Yasuo is just about to cue that last sliver of health off. Top is still juking. Meanwhile, we have Lee Sin coming in from the back through it for a lane gank. Let's see. Oh, Varus very low.
Vayne goes so low.
Once again, the junglers are serving like a serve and protect role bot. They're not really finishing off any ganks, but we do have Yasuo coming in. Now Yasuo has excellent ranged engage potential to follow up a Janna's Q. Let's talk about Janna's Q and Yasuo's ult. There's a good combo. She can really fire it any range, and Yasuo's ult range is just so huge. Whoa, sorry, we missed that. Meanwhile, it looks like we had Olaf duke it out with Oh, there's the engage.
Leona went deep.
Very clean kill. And the wind wall blocks. Once again, picks up a kill. Wind wall. Meanwhile, top, Jax actually killed Olaf. We did see earlier when we flickered top that, and it looks like we're actually going to see a dragon kill here. Excellent conversion from the consecutive kills. We did see earlier in the previous engagement that Jax had burned Olaf's ultimate. So it is possible that he was able to capitalize on. It's very likely that Olaf burned more resources in that previous engagement, allowing Jax to come back. Because earlier we were seeing Jax fall behind Olaf. But Jax, well, once he gets a couple items, and he's got his Phage now, he's got his Vamp Scepter, so.
He's going for that Triforce. When he gets that Triforce, he's going to be putting out a lot of damage.
So, real quick here, let's talk about Global Gold. We've got LovelyPrincesses sitting 5,000 gold ahead, tower up, 6 kills, very definitive lead at this point in the game at 10 minutes, or 11 minutes nearly. If we, let's see here. In terms of like the raw sight game, we see Purple's got quite a bit more wards down. I count 5 wards if you include the top try. Whereas Resurrected only has those 2 wards guarding bot lane. So with that coverage of the bot jungle, they're going to be able to pre-predict where Jarvan's coming from, probably mitigate the damage, any potential comeback from Ahri, also to protect their Vayne, because Jarvan has been very active in the bot lane trying to set up ganks for Vayne, because she's just starting to pull ahead of... No, actually, no, they're still tied. Varus and Vayne putting up a good fight. Still relatively close to yes. One's not really pulling ahead of the other at this point. If you look at items, Vayne going for the Blade of the Ruined King. So you see the early Bilge Water. Definitely, it's kind of debatable about whether it overpowers the BF Sword by Varus in a trading situation. Maybe pre-level 12.
In a straight up fight, it's not.
We have
comes the fight.
Everybody coming in, including Yasuo. I actually think Yasuo's going to do most of the cleaning up in this. He's just going to output so much damage. Very difficult situation. We saw, I believe Jarvan whiffed his flag combo. You didn't really see. There was just a lot going on there when Yasuo came in ulted. And we actually we're going to have the jungler and the top laner take the first tower for Resurrected to move top. And the bot tower as well. So currently, all the exterior towers for Resurrected have fallen. Meanwhile, Ahri is kind of pushing up to the first mid tower. Really, they've not taken any pressure tower-wise. And in terms of global objectives, the only thing that has fallen is, we saw Dragon being taken by LovelyPrincesses. So we're seeing, at this time, complete map dominance by the purple team. Ooh. Now with red buff. Doesn't his Q apply on hit effects?
I think it does.
Yeah, so he's able to poke, apply the slow, follow up with a nice kill. Let's see, both teams jockeying. At this point, what we'd probably like to see from... that is warded. That was a pretty good preemptive ward. I don't think Olaf is going to be able to... With the help of Jarvan, however, he will... Oh, excellent ward jumping out of the Cataclysm. Yes, very well played. Why we see Sightstone on Lee Sin.
It is so hard to lock him down.
Very good escape mechanisms and engage mechanisms. However, we see just no kills across the board. And that's where a lot of this gold disparity is coming from. We see Vayne, she's finished her Blade of the Ruined King, she's got her boots. Varus actually opted to finish Berserker Greaves first over Bloodthirster. I'm not sure. Meanwhile, top lane, Olaf is pulling ahead. He's almost finished his Sunfire, but at the same time, Jax is a kill up, and he's got, I would say, a more effective jungle pressure at this time. Lee Sin is a bit ahead of Jarvan in terms of gold overall. And
Well, right now, with the way the lanes are working out, Jax's entire job is to just try to pull Olaf's attention top.
Really, if he can keep Olaf, you know, off of Vayne, off of Janna,
Yeah.
you know, Olaf does just such a great job of training down high priority targets and, you know, unstoppable force. You just right click on them, you use your ultimate, and they die.
Ultimate Ghost.
Yeah.
Choo choo.
You're the train, the pain train that's coming. We still see a huge ward advantage by Lovely Princesses. Oh, looks like we might have an engage here. The speed of Yasuo's Tornado is actually really deceptive because most people treat it like Janna's, where it's kind of easy to dodge on reaction.
Yeah.
But Yasuo's is much quicker.
Lee Sin jumping in.
Oh, we've got that charm actually hits Yasuo, rendering him not able to really do much damage for the majority of this engagement, and Janna is trapped. Bad positioning
That was a...
by her positioning, and we've actually got Lovely Princesses running from a team engagement. So this may harken to what these teams are oriented towards. We've got Lovely Princesses are really doing well in lane-oriented skirmishes. You know, we saw them do great in lane. But as we transition to team engagements, oh, they do manage to stun Lee Sin. And here's Olaf. If he lands an undertow, not quite close enough. He did land it, but not quite close enough to follow up. I think the biggest question is if Ahri can land charm.
Yeah.
If Ahri can just charm, and he's
going
going to kick him in, but the follow-up, oh my god, there's not quite enough damage.
Lee Sin going down.
Jax really just
Olaf just
everybody.
diving the back line.
We see a lot of the damage. You see Yasuo and Vayne surviving on Lovely Princesses, which is a lot of the damage because Jax is doing such a great job of face tanking, you know, the opposing. We saw Lee Sin dive and effectively dive. He took the focus of a lot of skills. I believe I saw quite a few abilities used on him, kind of overkill, when those CC options could have been saved for, you know, the follow-up Yasuo or something along those lines. We see a nice transition from that team engagement into a dragon kill for Lovely Princesses. Once again, I really want to emphasize 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wards. So they have double the site game of Resurrected at this point.
Part of that's just a side effect of having the Lee Sin jungle because he's using.
He does have
this
second sight stone. Yeah.
They
also have a second greater totem.
Yep.
They have an extra greater totem due to them not having a second sweeping lens. So. And normally you'd think that the sweeping lens would counteract the extra wards by allowing them to de-ward better, but maybe they're missing it, maybe they're saving it. It's like not on cooldown enough. We'll see. We've got some pings going out mid, calling for some defense onto the interior tower. It's going to be really hard to stop Yasuo at this point. He's 5-0, 140 CS. He's finished his static. It looks like he's almost finished his Infinity Edge. He actually could just build Infinity Edge or Bloodthirster. He's kind of itemized, so you can choose. Usually you see players tend to finish one right away. But we've got big clumping by Resurrected.
Olaf's coming in from top.
But they do have this ward coverage. They did see him coming in. Jack's kind of stranded out alone there. He kind of needs to go help his team at this point. Otherwise, it's going to be a 5v4. And I will say one thing about Resurrected team, they have a lot of crowd control. You have Charm, Cataclysm, Flag Combo, and Zenith Blade, and Leona's ult.
Varus' ult.
Varus' ult as well. They really have great chain crowd control potential in terms of team engagements.
Though I'm going to be cynical and say that Varus' ult is probably going to miss. Because
maybe he'll be that one Varus who lands his ult.
He might be the one Varus who lands it.
I think what I'm...
Olaf getting caught a little.
Oh, it looks like we did land a tornado on Ahri there. She's actually... slips out. We've also got...
Varus goes down to
just
Vayne.
So much damage being output by both Lee Sin, Jax, Yasuo. That's the biggest thing, I think. They may not have triple kill for Yasuo. It looks like he might. And then Ace, Quadra.
That is an 0 for 5. Or 5 for 0.
5 for 0, yep. Just a complete domination in terms of team fight. And this should be easy inhibitor.
Yep.
Even if blue team comes back up, they're not going to be able to contest them because they just don't have the damage output. That's one of the biggest things you see. Jarvan does do damage early games. Passive, you know, if you build Hydra, he can do a lot of damage early game. But when you move into, you know, when people start getting their Sunfires, their Blue Fists, or maybe they finish their Bloodthirsters, his damage kind of falls off. So his potency as an alternative damage dealer in the later aspects of the game are not going to rival Lee Sin.
Lee Sin's not sure.
Lee Sin actually jumping in, clean engage on Ahri, kicks her out. Managed to slip out with a good chunk of health left, and Yasuo cleaning up Jarvan in Leona and finishing off Varus. This is going to be, you know, as we're sitting here, we see LovelyPrincesses with a 16k gold lead and only 2 deaths. And so with this second inhibitor, the game has more or less run its course. If we want to talk about why LovelyPrincesses was able to kind of snowball their way up, we mentioned earlier that they have just raw AD, right? They don't have a real AP damage dealer. But that's okay, because...
Don't need it.
I mean, Sunfire is strong right now, don't get me wrong. Ninja Tabby, also very good. Just kind of because of the passive increase of potency towards the defensive tree. You know, you're just enhancing your already really good defense tree. Oh, we actually see a purchase for Kale's. Oh my gosh, so many high-end buys there. We see 2 Ravenous Hydras, a Mikhail the Trilly Force, Talisman Ascension, Affinity Edge, Bloodthirster. There's really nothing that they didn't buy, I think is a better point. They didn't buy a Black Cleaver or a Warmogs. Right?
Wait, did Yasuo sell his Bloodthirster? Looks like he sold the Bloodthirster and bought a Ravenous Hydra.
Well, no, he took the BF sword,
right?
And turned it into the BF sword and the pickaxe turned into Infinity Edge, and then he took.
Yasuo purchased the Bloodthirster.
Oh, he probably returned it.
Yeah,
with the new return
the new
system.
undo.
New quote unquote new return system. Still new to me.
Either way, he's just.
It looks like they're just gonna go for the classic super creep triple inhib push. Dragon is up in 30, but you know at this point, backing up to do Dragon, your lead can only get so big, right?
Right.
You're only gonna kill them. The difference between killing a hero in 1 hit and killing a champion in 2 hits, really incremental. A quick Baron. You know, a lot of people argue that going for Baron when you're already in head, you're just more or less tossing the game because you're just putting yourself at risk for a counterattack, right?
Yeah, but you're usually not ahead by 20k.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. If it's uncontestable, and if the enemy team came at you and you were all at half health with no summoners up and you just win anyway because you've got an extra 300% damage output due to items alone, and you just the power of gold speaks.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Desperate defense, the last tower.
Jax going in.
Jax just very brave engaged, very tanky, taking Varus as if he is nothing, and Olaf just melting under the continued barrage. Jax actually is going to fall there. It looks like he... Ahri is actually doing a great job outputting damage. Really, she does manage to pick up... She's almost killed everybody. She's almost killed everybody, but it does look like Lee Sin did manage to outposition her and take it. So that will be the game for LovelyPrincesses.
That
really well played. They capitalized on the early advantage, and they didn't